Hello, good morning. Welcome to another recap video. My name is James McCool. I am the guy over at paydirt.ghost.io, build all the models, run all the numbers, do all the cool things. This is going to be another recap video of all of the models that were ran yesterday for all of the different sports on the site. Yesterday we had another full day. It was basketball, hockey, and League of Legends. We had all three yesterday. Today we do not have NHL. We have NBA and a small League of Legends slate later on in the day. So it's going to be a little bit more of a relaxed day today without having to deal with hockey. Been really happy with the way the models have been performing. Overall, last night was another solid night. I'm going to go over everything and just kind of like talk through a couple of the pitfalls, an annoying NBA slate, and a really good hockey slate. You may hear my cat Kershaw screaming in the background. Just do your best to ignore him. He's just very happy about the world. So let's go into it. The first thing that I have up here, as usual, is going to be the NBA matchups sheet. These are the DEM sheets, defense efficiency matchups. Pretty damn good. Pretty good last night. The top players were Thomas Satoransky, Drew Holiday, Shaquille Harrison, Christian Wood, and Hassan Whiteside. Shaq Harrison has a bit of an asterisk next to his name. We'll go into that when we get to him. But overall, yeah, pretty good. Pretty happy about it. Thomas Satoransky ended up putting up 48 fantasy points. Hassan Whiteside put up 50. Christian Wood put up 43. Drew Holiday put up 56. And Shaquille Harrison put up 8. I think 8 fantasy points. It was pretty bad. And it is what it is. I was trying to guess on small forward for Chicago last night. I was trying to guess at who would be getting the minutes because they didn't have any true wings. Well, they had like a couple true wings available, but they were so short last night that I thought that Shaq Harrison would get some extra run. I knew that Ryan, I'm going to try to pronounce his name correctly, Arcidiacono, that's a guess. I knew that he would be getting some minutes. I knew that Shaq Harrison would be getting some minutes. But we've seen Shaq Harrison get some good run for this team before. So I figured he would be the one that would be getting the small forward minutes and or at least getting an extra boost from not having very many wings available. I don't remember how many minutes he played. It was actually Arcidio Okono who was the one that benefited the most, and I did have him in a couple lineups, and the range of outcomes really liked him as well. So he put up 18.25 fantasy points. But we'll go through each player really quick. Satoransky ended up with 15 points, 3 rebounds, 13 assists, and 4 steals. Just fantastic outcome for him, and we figured that it would be a fantastic outcome considering it was the best possible matchup for an opposing point guard. There were some decisions that had to be made last night between a couple of the mid 5K guys, and he was one of the top options by far. I actually made a mistake last night in playing Will Barton over him. The range of outcomes liked Will Barton a lot. It didn't quite like Thomas Satoransky as much, but knowing that Satoransky had the best possible matchup for a point guard, I really should have taken that into account, and I made a mistake on that last night. So lesson learned on that one. Don't go against the efficiency matchup sheets. Moving next to Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday ended up with 23 points, 7 rebounds, 15 assists, and a block. Fantastic night, 56 fantasy points. Ended up crushing his price tag in the best possible matchup for a shooting guard. Again, whenever we have somebody who is in the best possible spot for any position, you should really take that into account. It's a massive boost in fantasy point per minute, 22% boost for Drew Holiday, and it showed in his outcomes. I already talked through Shaquille Harrison and Ryan Arcidiacono. They both combined put up 25 fantasy points, and their price combined did not really work out that well. It was Ryan Arcidiacono that you needed. He put up 18, and even that wasn't incredible, but he was pretty good. So talk to them. You'll see that Will Barton is there. Will Barton had one, he was in foul trouble in the beginning of the night, and two, he just didn't take enough shots. And when he did take shots, he was missing them. So he only shot like 20% from the field or something like that, and still put up around 25 fantasy points. So if he shoots, 6 for 8 from the field instead of 2 for 8 from the field, and I mentioned this in Discord last night, then he smashes that price tag. He puts up like 32 fantasy points probably. And you got to think that if he's making those shots, he's probably taking more shots because that's kind of the person that Will Barton is. He likes to ride his own hot hand. And when you're in foul trouble and your shots aren't dropping, his confidence was just low. So I don't regret that play. Moving forward to Christian Wood. Christian Wood started out the first half pretty badly. Ended up putting up 43 fantasy points, 26 real life points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist and 2 blocks. If he gets that last rebound, he puts up like 47 fantasy points or 46 fantasy points. So he crushed, really, really happy with that. And he was lower owned than he should have been, especially because he wasn't starting. So he was a ringer. Definitely liked him in the Discord last night as well. Talked through that play quite a bit. And then Hassan Whiteside. Hassan Whiteside had 15 fantasy points in the first half and ended with 50. I hate him so much. When he cares, he puts up massive fantasy points. He finished the day with 16 real life points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 blocks. And there were a lot of questions last night on his median outcome in this matchup. The range of outcomes had his median outcome at like 67 fantasy points or something gaudy like that. And he put up 50 with having a terrible score in the first half. The actual projection for him, based on my projection set and based on the NBA prop betting tool, was 26 real life points and 17 rebounds. He finished with 17 rebounds, but he had 10 less real life points than the projection set thought that he was going to have, and it's because he didn't try in the first half. So if he tries in the first half, I don't have any inkling of doubt that he would have passed 60 fantasy points. I have no reason to doubt that median. As a median, it's high, but like I said in Discord plenty of times last night, don't pay attention to projections. Just pay attention to the reasons why you're playing these guys. Hassan Whiteside in this matchup last night against a team that is allowing centers to have over 3 blocks per game on average, regular centers. So against Hassan Whiteside, who's one of the best shot blockers in the league, and in this spot where they don't have anybody that can guard him, you got to play him on that. Even when he's super, super chalky, you got to play him on that. So really happy with how the DEM sheets worked out last night. I'm gonna move on to the range of outcomes. Range of outcomes. Let's see. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of the top 20 had great outcomes, which is 6x or more of their fantasy, and 1, 2, 3, so 10 out of 20 had good or great outcomes, at least 5x. So happy about that, and then a whole bunch of meh. We'll just go down the list really quick. We'll start with Eric Pascal, who was hella chalk last night and deserved to be hella chalk. Got into foul trouble in the first 2 minutes. Picked up 2 rebounds and had 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes. So that hurt him pretty bad, but he still salvaged all right. He ended up putting up 20.25 fantasy points. There was no reason not to play him last night. He was really, really good chalk. Just kind of, foul trouble sucks. Will Barton was the second one. He put up 24.5. Again, foul trouble and just a bad night from the floor. If he ends up shooting 6 for 8, then we don't even care about the foul trouble. He still puts up 30 fantasy points. So, I forgot to mention, Eric Pascal I had projected for 33. Will Barton I had projected for 37. Eric Pascal put up 20. Will Barton put up 24. So definitely under their projections. But, again, foul trouble. Naz Reid is the next one. I had him projected for 38, which is a lot, but that's only a little bit over 6x, and he, again, got in foul trouble. Like all these guys, just getting into bad foul trouble. Naz Reid definitely had mostly a meh performance, 22.25 fantasy points. But foul trouble, I can't speak to that. I think that he, again, is one of those people who is going to be able to do really well for you as long as he doesn't get into that foul trouble. So, Hassan Whiteside projected for 62, put up 50, didn't try in the first half, but he was, again, just a really, really good play. You had to eat that chalk. He was one of the best plays at 9,700. Brandon Ingram put up 33 fantasy points. He was projected for 43 at 6.9K. 39 doesn't kill you, but he was a better fade than he was a play. I didn't end up using him. I had a lot of exposure to Zion Williamson instead. Christian Wood projected for 45, put up 43, didn't really do that well in the first half, so he was projected for 6% ownership. I touted him as one of the best plays on the slate last night. Made sure to have a bunch of exposure to him. Kobe White projected for 33, put up like 49. Yeah, so he crushed. He was the one that got the biggest boost with no wings available. He was just able to take all of the wing shots, and he started out the night super, super hot. I think he had 16 real life points in like the first 6 minutes of his first rotation, so he absolutely dominated. Sekou Doumbouya, he did bad. He only had 13 fantasy points. He was pretty cheap, but he only had 13 fantasy points. He was projected for 23. He just ended up not taking a lot of shots and not really doing anything on the floor. That game, honestly, between Detroit and Portland was just kind of a shit show. So, 3,400. He was a bit of a disappointment. Ryan Asidiakono, he did well. He put up 18. I had him projected for 22. Danilo Gallinari, I think he only put up 18 fantasy points. Just had a bad night from the floor. It was a pretty bad performance. I had him projected for 37, so that's a bit of a bummer. Drew Holiday had him projected for 45. He ended up putting up 56. Very happy about that. He got all the boosts that we expected him to, and he was really, really low owned in the best matchup that you can have for a shooting guard. So really happy about that. Alan Smelagic, which I probably butchered the pronunciation of, did very, very terribly. I thought that he was going to get a couple extra minutes, but and ended up that he only got like 2 minutes or something like that. I think he had 2 rebounds. So he did very badly. Thomas Satoransky, fantastic outcome. 48.25 fantasy points. Great outcome. Already talked about him. Daniel Gafford. So I got a lot of questions about Daniel Gafford in the Discord last night, and the numbers just didn't really love him all that much. Only a 30% chance to 7x his price tag on DraftKings. He's just not involved. He doesn't do a lot. He doesn't have a high usage rate. He doesn't do anything special. Chicago is not a team that runs their offense through the post. They take a whole bunch of twos and threes, and they don't really care that much about using their center, especially somebody like Daniel Gafford, who's not necessarily special in any given way. Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins was projected for 42 and ended up putting up 32, which if you told me that I had Andrew Wiggins projected pretty well, I would tell you that I don't want to play Andrew Wiggins because I think that he's terrible at basketball. Jordan McLaughlin projected for 25. I think he put up 38. Fantastic outcome. Very, very popular, though. He's projected for 35% ownership. I think he ended up like 44% owned in the big $12 or whatever the tournament was last night. So, I mean, he did well, but he was chalk, so I'm not going to tout that one. Zion Williamson ended up putting up 41.75. That's a pretty good outcome for him. Had him projected for 44. Again, this wasn't a situation where I think that he was a must play, but range of outcomes liked him. He was lower owned, and he definitely had a way higher ceiling than just 44 fantasy points. So liked him last night. I had a whole bunch of him. Just really wanted to target against that Golden State Warriors team. Fred VanVleet projected for 40, put up 20. Not actually sure what happened there. I think that it was just Toronto straight up blew the doors off of the Pacers, so he didn't get any fourth quarter run, and he was not the main focal point of the offense while they were blowing them out. So, I mean, that is what it is. I don't usually get Fred VanVleet right when I do play him, so I'm happy that I didn't play him last night. Malik Beasley projected for 33 or projected for 31, ended up putting up 33. Fine with that. Nothing special. He was chalky. I was actually fading him in some qualifiers, so he did well, and it is what it is. I expected him to do well. And then Paul Millsap put up 41.25. He was only 4,500. Was only 2% owned. Absolute ringer. Fantastic outcome for him. He shot hot as hell from the field to start the game. Took a lot of fantasy points away from Will Barton. So pretty good overall. At least half of these players did very well. The other half, not great. Sekou Doumbouya Danilo Gallinari, Alan Smilagic, and Fred VanVleet, all bad, and then a whole bunch of meh. So if the meh would have been better, then I think that things would have turned out way better. But Discord definitely had some guys talking about how good they did, so I'm not going to be mad about it. But it's worth recounting all of the bad that happened on top of all of the good. So we'll move on to the hockey. There we go. So hockey was good. We were mostly on Calgary and Vegas, and Calgary ended up putting up 4 goals, I think. Yep, 4 goals for Calgary. And then the Vegas Golden Knights ended up putting 6 goals up, going into OT with the Ducks. So being on those two as the kind of top stacks, the top lines. Calgary 2 was the top line. Vegas 1 was the secondary one. Calgary 1 was the third. And then Vegas 2 was the fifth. So definitely happy about the way that turned out. Even Edmonton, who's the third best stack for last night in the hockey sheets, ended up putting up 4 goals as well against Kings. So really, really happy with how the NHL sheets turned out. Got a lot of screenshots this morning. Really happy about that. In the earlier slate, we were on the Islanders as well, and the Islanders ended up putting up 4 goals. The only team that outscored them was Capitals, who put up 5. So really happy about the NHL sheets. They've been great. I am going to make some tweaks today or tomorrow. There's no NHL slate tonight, so want to make some adjustments to the Corsi ratings and stuff like that. But really happy about the NHL sheets. So this has been another recap. Trying to do these every day. We will see if I will continue to do them every day when the fiance gets back from her vacation tonight. But I've really liked being able to recap these things and get it going in the morning. So thanks for tuning in, and let's have another winning day.